In this video, I'm going to teach you how to form an LLC with the state of Alabama. We're going to do it online, we're going to do it together, and I'm going to teach you how to complete the entire process in less than 10 minutes for free. So let's get started. So you finally started your own business. Invest for the long term, and I'll show you exactly how. Be good to future you. Okay, this is the Alabama Secretary of State website. To get here, you go to sos.alabama.gov. sos.alabama.gov. This will take you to the Alabama Secretary of State website. This is how you file LLCs. LLCs get filed with the state, EINs get filed with the federal government. We're not going to talk about EINs in this video, we're simply going to be talking about LLCs. So let me show you how to get started. First things first, you need to make sure that your name isn't taken. So you need to go over to Services, Business Entities, and then you need to go to Online Services, and then we're going to go over here down to Business Entity and Name Search. This is important because names are state specific and you can't have the same name as somebody in the same state. You can have the same name as somebody who's in Florida if you're applying in Alabama, but not in the same state. So let me show you what it means to search to see if your name is taken. So what you want to do is you want to search the business entity name. It's going to pop open a new tab and it's going to give you some records that you can input. So you can search by name, by type of entity, by place, by city, etc. But what we're going to do is we're going to search for Joe's Plumbing LLC, just like this. Who knows? We get results back and it shows us that there's an entity ID for an LLC already established as Joe's Plumbing in the state. So it exists. So we can't use Joe's Plumbing. Let's try Joseph's Plumbing. No matches found. Okay, so you can be Joseph's Plumbing LLC, but you can't be Joe's Plumbing LLC. That's how you find out if your name is taken with the Secretary of State. So now that we know, we're gonna go back to the very beginning where we were at the website. We know our name's available, so let's use that name to apply for an LLC. We're gonna use Joe's Plumbing. So go over here to Services and go down to Business Entities and then Online Services. We do not wanna submit all this information by mail because it's way too slow. We wanna fill this out online. We've already done the name search, so let's go all the way down here to domestic business filing. Domestic means that you're there present in the state. So that's the option that we want to use, domestic business filing. Click on it, we're gonna go to domestic formation. We're not gonna dissolve a company, that's what dissolution's for. We're gonna form one. Let's click on that. Boom, here we go. It gives us all the fees and lets us know how much it's gonna cost for what. So we can reserve our name. If we're not ready to file the LLC yet, you can just reserve the name by paying this $25 here. But if you are ready, you can do a domestic filing. And so you can see the total fees are about $208 to form an LLC on your own. Now, if you're a foreign person and you don't live in Alabama or you live outside the United States and you want to file for an LLC within Alabama, you would choose the foreign filing option. One more thing to add, they have subscribers and non-subscribers. That just means whether or not you have an account on this website. We can go with a non-subscriber and we can just go forward from there. So now we're gonna put in all of our contact info and I'm gonna blur out a majority of this contact info because I don't want you guys to have my address. So I'm gonna start using, let's see, I'm gonna use Evan Van Schmacken, put in a primary phone number. We got a no fax number, we'll put in the email address. Our address down here, and we're gonna hit continue. New name reservation. Okay, so here is the name reservation part. If you had a name reservation already on file, you can type it in here. You put reservation ID. That's the one you paid $25 for, but you probably don't. So we're gonna put in the name requested, which is gonna be Joseph's Plumbing LLC. Boom, we're gonna hit continue. So the type of reservation right here, are we gonna do domestic or are we gonna do foreign? So we're gonna do domestic because we're gonna be doing everything inside the state of Alabama. Now, if you live in Alabama and you plan on doing sales outside of Alabama, like nationwide, that's okay too. You can do that, that's fine. We just need to get the LLC registered where your principal address is, the address that you're using to accept mail and the address that you're using for your business. So that's why we're choosing domestic. Now, here's another question that a lot of people get confused on, the type of entity. So most people are not going to choose corporations. Corporations just aren't good for people. Limited liability companies offer you the most protection and they're easier, cheaper, and better. You don't have to issue stock, you don't have to split it up, you don't have to do certain record keeping stuff like meeting minutes and things like that when you form an LLC, but you do when you form a corporation. So take my word for it. And if you want to learn more about corporations and LLCs and the differences, you can sign up for my business course. There's a link below. I go into great detail on all this stuff in my business course. I teach you exactly what each entity is so that you can choose what works best for you. So, for sake of discussion, we're going to go with LLC, limited liability company. We're not going to go with a partnership or a limited partnership or any of these other things. They just don't fit well. 90% of people will choose limited liability company. When in doubt, go LLC. That's a good way to look at it. When in doubt, go LLC. I have 5 companies. All of them are LLCs.
Weird flex, but okay.
So we have Joe's Plumbing, LLC, and when you're typing in the name, it has to have LLC at the end. Okay? It has to have LLC or L.L.C. It has to have something like that. You can't use any of these words in the name, and you can't use any of these, etc. You can't use engineer unless you're an engineer, etc. Anyways, this is just giving you some extra information on what Alabama tells you is this just gives you information on what Alabama will accept as a name for your LLC. Joseph's Plumbing LLC is perfectly fine. We're filing online. They want to ask if we want to reserve the name only or if we want to file the formation data. Now the formation data, it means that we're submitting our articles of organization to the state of Alabama to turn it into an entity. That's what we want to do, file formation data. Okay, we are going to be filing it as an individual. And we're gonna put our own name there. I'm gonna blur out the address once again. So what you can do here is just put in your address, your mailing address. That's perfectly fine. And now we have the original requester information. So you wanna make sure this name's correct, wanna make sure the information's correct, and if it is, hit certify and hit continue. Now we're going into the county of formation. So you'll need to click the county that you're registering the business in. So look up your county if you don't know it already. And then we're gonna choose limited liability again. This part right here, delayed effective date. Say for example, you don't want the LLC to go into effect for another 60 days because you still have some other things that you need to accomplish before you can start this company. That's when you would use the delayed effective date. It will prolong the filing of your company and it won't start for like 2 months. Most people don't use this option, but it's there for you in case you need it. Remember, when in doubt, limited liability company all the way. Hit continue and we'll go to the next page. Now, registered agent, very interesting here. You can be your own registered agent. That's totally fine. A registered agent is someone who can accept mail from the government during normal business hours. So you can use your address and your name if you're comfortable with it. However, if you use your own name and address, it's going to be public and it's going to be available for everybody to see. So if you don't want that to be the case and you want to keep it private, then you need to use an organization as a registered agent. Now, if you don't have a registered agent, you can go to a website called incfile.com. I'll leave a link below. And then you can hire them to be your registered agent. Basically, you're going to provide their name and address, and they're going to send all the mail to Incfile. Incfile will receive your mail, open it, scan it, and email it to you. They'll also collect all of your documents for you and any other mail that you want to send to that address. Registered agents are fantastic. You expect to spend about $150 a year for a registered agent service. That's a good, affordable price. That's pretty average. So take your pick. We're going to use individual because a lot of people do that, and so I'm just going to punch in my name and I'm going to blur out part of it just like I said before. And this is where you would put the registered agent address right here. We're going to use our address because that's what we're doing. So by checking this box, you certify that the physical address listed above is located within the county you're filing. Yep. Registered agent mailing address, we're going to copy that down below because we are the registered agent, and we're going to continue. All right. Organizer information is optional. This is the information for the person who is actually filing these documents for you. Since you're doing it yourself because you're watching this YouTube video, or because you're in my business course and you're watching this YouTube video, then you can choose not to use the organizer information. Just hit continue. Document uploads. All right. So if you want to identify a member or members of the limited liability company, you can attach an electronic filing. So what that means is you can put together a PDF document with an operating agreement that will outline who owns what in the company. what to do in the event of death, what to do in the event of a sale, what to do in the event of a disagreement. That's what operating agreements are for. In my business course, we go through operating agreements in great detail. I walk you through all of it and we teach you how to fill it out. If you don't have an operating agreement, you can go to Vanator.com, find the operating agreement, and use the coupon code I don't want to pay you and download it for free. Fill out the operating agreement and attach it if you would like. However, if you're just a single person and this LLC is only for you and you're the only person on here, you don't have to add an attachment. You can fill out the operating agreement yourself and just keep it for your own records. So it's up to you. If you want to do it, you can. I gave you the solutions. If you don't, you can skip this step and hit continue. Okay, now we have our summary. Make sure everything is correct here, okay? And yes, I know you're gonna see a few blurred lines, but this is super, super easy to understand. Just make sure all the information's correct. Head over to the electronic signature, type in your name, and type in your title, whether it's president, CEO, founder, whatever you want to be, and click the box. Now, if you're curious and you really want to look up the code for the names and titles for entities that are authorized to sign, you can go to this subsection and look up the Alabama state code, but I don't think it's necessary. President, CEO, owner, founder, all of those will be just fine. Hit continue, and it should take us to the checkout page. All right, so you can see that we are paying the county fee, we're paying the state filing fee, and then we're paying the name reservation fee. So we have a total price of $236. We can pay with a credit card, put in our customer information, hit next, and we're done. That's literally it. After the payment, we're done. I'm not going to put in my payment information because I don't want to form this LLC. I simply want to show you how to do it. That's it. Those are all the steps needed to form an LLC with the state of Alabama. The goal is to submit our articles of organization. That's what we're doing right now. Articles of organization allow you to form an entity. An entity is something that's separate from yourself, like a limited liability company, which is what we just formed. It's the simplest and the easiest way to get this done, going directly to the Secretary of State, that is. But I understand if it's confusing and it's still a little intimidating for other people. So there's two other options I have for you. The first one is you can have this formed by somebody else.
Oh, really?
But there's two other options. You can have someone else form the company for you and you can just pay them to get it done. You can use someone like Incfile. I'll leave a link down below. Or you can do it on your own. Or if you like the way I teach, you can sign up for my business school. There'll be a link below and I'll walk you through all of these steps. Not only will I show you how to form an LLC and teach you what entities are the best, but we'll go through business plans and we're gonna go through entity structure and tax statuses. I'm gonna teach you how to choose the proper name for your business. I'll walk you through all the steps of an operating agreement. And we're gonna teach you about payroll, banking, bookkeeping, accounting, how the money should flow, how to set up business credit, how to build business credit. I'm going to teach you how to save money with taxes and how to become an s-corp at the very end so that you can save money like I do and pay taxes like the rich. If you're interested in that and you enjoyed this video and you like learning from me, check it out. You got nothing to lose. I hope you enjoyed. Keep educating and be good to future you.